Hello. So in the previous video, we created some lists representing um, different lines, operators, different lines supervisors, department managers, lists representing different tiers in the organization. So in this video, I'm going to start adding cards to each list. Okay, so we start with the operator card. You click add card here. And per the instructions, the first card that I want to add after creating my list. So we want two cards on this first list. One is represents a healthy card. The other one is one that has a problem. And so the first card is going to be Shift A line one output. Okay, so I just copy the title from here, and then I go back here and paste it and click add. Okay, so once I've added the card, if I click on the name, it opens this, and so I can specify who is part of this card, labels, dates, checklist members, and I can add a description here. So actually before I do that, see, I can add labels to a particular card by creating a new label here. So let me start with that. And so there was this here that we want to create different labels. So we want to mark the items that are on track, that need attention, critical, that need improvement, that have been resolved, different labels, so that they're easy to identify. Because if you look at this here, you'll see that this one says on track, this one says it's critical, this one needs attention. So those are the labels. So I'm going to create this first label this way. And this one needs a green background. So I can this one as the background, and I can give it so you can add one of the existing labels, or you can add one of the existing labels, or you can create one from scratch. So if I want to create a new label from scratch, I can choose this here and then give it a title like that. Okay, so when I click create here, you can see that it's created this label. So maybe I don't want this one, so I can uncheck it. And this is the one that I want, the green one. So you can see that now this card shipped a line one output has a green label, which says that this one is on track. So that's what I want. And I can add a more detailed description for the card. And so the description that I want to add to this card is over here. And so I'll share this with you so that you can work along and try it on your end. But essentially, I'm going to put this here. So for shift A, the operators need to track output quantity, defect, defective units, defect rate, um, things like that. Actually, I think I might add one or two things to this list, but let's keep it this way since that's the description that I have in the notes. And so I'm just going to save this here. And so now I have a card that has a description, has a label. So you can see, and I can add a due date, which I'll do shortly. If I go to date here, I can add the due date, the start date, and the due date, and send a reminder either one day before at a certain time, 5 minutes before, 10 minutes before. You can choose if you want a reminder to be sent and when. So I'll just save this here. Actually, I didn't mean to set this as the due date. So okay, it's fine. Let me leave it like that. It's tomorrow at 12:01 p.m. And then, so now this is my card. It's shaping up. I have added a due date and a label. I can add members. I can see right now I'm the only member on this board, so I can't really. I'm not gonna okay, let me add myself just for fun. Okay, so I'm a member, but I can if I had invited people to join the board and they'd accept it, I could add them to the card as well so that they can see what's going on when something needs attention or something has been added to a checklist. So actually, I'll come to the checklist and attachment shortly, but I'm going to close this for now. And what I want to do is I want to create my remaining labels. So in order to do that, I don't want the labels to be labels pertaining to a particular card. I want them to be labels that I can apply to any card. So I'm going to go here rather and create those labels. Okay, so I'm going to say labels here. So what I did was I clicked on these three dots and it gives me this full blown menu here that I can choose from. So I want the labels. And then when I click create new from here, so I created my first label, which is on the contract label, and then attention needed is the second label that I'm going to create. So I pasted the title here, and then I want it to be yellow, so I can use some yellowish color. And I'm just going to, I think we'll go with this one. And then, so I've added, see, this one doesn't add it to a card. The other one that I did, if I click create a label, it adds it to that card. So I just want to create some labels that I can add to different cards as I go along. And so the third label, the critical label, and here, create new label, and I come here, and I want a red color, so maybe I'll use this one here to create my critical label, and then the next one is the improvement project, and create new label there. So the improvement project, this blue background, create. And then the last label is the one that has been resolved. And so I'll copy that. And I'm going to give it, create new label, and then give it that gray background. And yeah, I think the closest to what I want is this one here. So I created labels. And yeah, so I've created the labels. And now I can, when I add anything to the card, I can add labels to it. Okay, so what I'm going to do, and by the way, there's a toggle key if while you're in a card, you can press numbers 1 through 6. There's other toggle keys that we would look at as we go along. So just keep that in mind if you're somebody who likes using a keyboard along. But what I'm going to do is I think I left out, yeah. Okay, so I did the labels, and then the next thing I added the description. So I'm going to add a checklist here. Okay, so in this checklist, I'm going to say DPR, and then so back to the card, I'm going to add a checklist to finish up the things on this card. So I paste this here, add. And once you create a checklist, you can see here it says that I can add items to the checklist. So the things that I want to add for the operators to do, record daily output as one of the things they need to do. So I add this to their task. So when they're done, they can mark it as completed, record daily output, record defective units, and um, record daily output, record defective units, calculate defect rate is the other thing they need to do. So I add these to a checklist of things they need to do. And if you know, attach evidence. So I copy this, add it to a checklist, and submit to supervisor when they're done with everything, the checklist. And so I paste this here. Okay, so now that I've done all that, I can set a due date. I think I already set the due date to tomorrow at 12 p.m. So I just leave it like that. And I want to apply a critical label to this one. So actually, I originally created the on track, but this is supposed to be critical. So ideally, I'm going to add the critical label and then uncheck this one. Okay, so I want this one to be marked as critical, and then I can save this. And yeah, so I've got my card, I've added the label, I've added the checklist of items. And see, the operator can mark some of them as checked as done. So maybe if they've done these two, you can see it shows the progress about 40% complete. And you can delete any items, you can delete the whole thing. So I'm going to close this here. Let me see if there's anything else that I needed to do here. Okay, so that's the first card. I've closed it, and then we go to the second card. Okay, so I'll end this video here and pick up where I left off on the second card in the next video. So stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.